could just take the blame. Wish you could say you were wrong. Cause one time will never run. I don't really care. This war's gone on way too long.
Welcome to A Private Little War, a Star Trek Attack Wing podcast. I'm your host, Vinny Rose, and with me, as always, is Mr. Kevin Glodzinski.
Hello, hello.
Today, we're going to talk about the mission Sacrifice of Angels, which comes from the DS9 episode of the same name, and that was Season 6, Episode 6. Now, this is personally, I think, one of my favorite episodes. I know it's one of yours as well.
If I had a top 3 pick, this would be probably number 1 on the charts for many a reason.
And truthfully, if you're a Star Trek Attack Wing player, and you watch this episode, and you're not psyched to play some Star Trek Attack Wing, check your pulse.
Yeah.
So going into this, just a little recap of the episode. They're going to try and retake Deep Space Nine. They've lost it to the Dominion, and they're outnumbered 2-1, which is actually reflected in the mission.
Yep.
And they're going to try and punch a hole through and make it to Deep Space Nine before the minefield comes down. Spoiler alert, Dukat gets broken, Ziyal dies, and Damar's the one that killed her.
And the Federation lives to fight another day.
Yes.
And to win eventually.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say about the episode?
When it comes to war, this was one of my favorite episodes when it comes to a space battle episode.
Oh, absolutely. I do believe it was the largest space battle in televised Trek.
Yep. And it really, when it comes down to it, it had the best strategy outlook if you're from a strategy perspective. Star Trek Attack Wing, again, you'll get a lot of ideas for how to play, flanking maneuvers and stuff like that from this storyline, from watching the episode. And I seriously suggest that if you can find enough, go out and buy yourself a ton of ships. And because I've been wanting to, not only do I like this scenario for Star Trek Attack Wing, I've always been pushing to want to do a much larger engagement. Because Vince and I, in case you guys probably don't know yet, we own a lot of ships, Vince especially. And we have enough ships to field. We've done a 500-point game practically at one point.
Oh, I believe I posted that I posted pictures from that when I was going through the hard drive.
Yeah, if we could have a big enough table and about a day and a half to do it, I would love to do a 500 or more campaign of Sacrifice of Angels just to try to simulate as close as possible. Because there was I believe it was 2,400 ships versus 1,200 in the episode. And I would love to get high marks of ship numbers. And unfortunately, it would be... I
think you'd have to borrow my Dominion ships, or I would have to borrow your Dominion ships in order to do that. I think we both have enough Federation ships.
Oh, yeah, plenty.
The thing is I think this mission, which pits 240 points of Dominion forces against 120 points of Federation forces. I think now we play on a 3x6 table, and for the missions, we cut it in half. Not literally, but we put a marker up there. And I think playing on the full table, the 6x3 table, I think you could easily bring that up to 480 points versus 240 points.
Yeah, easily.
Anyway, now let's get to the mission. Sacrifice of Angels, mission overview. Number of players, 2. Special components, 5 mission tokens. The Dominion control Terok Nor and have found a way to destroy the minefield of self-replicating mines that the Federation set up to block the Bajoran wormhole. If they succeed, the Dominion will be able to send thousands of ships from the Delta Quadrant to the Alpha Quadrant. The Federation has sent a fleet to stop this from happening, but the Dominion learned of their plan and sent a fleet of their own to stop them. Setup: 240 squadron points, including at least 6 ships. Now, that's the Dominion side. On the Federation side, you have 120 squadron points, including at least 1 Federation attack squadron. The Federation Klingon player cannot equip any of its ships with any card that has the ability to cancel or negate an entire attack. The Federation ships are set up in a 36 by 4 inch area along the south edge of the play area. The Dominion ships are set up in a 36 by 12 inch area along the north edge of the play area. Place 5 mission tokens beside the play area.
Destroying the minefield. During the end phase of every round, remove 1 mission token from the game. When the last mission token is removed from the game, the minefield is destroyed. Breaking through the Dominion lines. If one of the Federation Klingon player ships, other than the attack squadron, exits the play area through the Dominion player's starting area, The Federation Klingon player has successfully broken through the Dominion lines and is on their way to preventing the Dominion from destroying the minefield. Objectives for the Dominion player. You win by destroying the minefield, i.e. when the last mission token is removed from the game, before the Federation Klingon player breaks through your lines. Alternatively, you win by destroying all of your opponent's ships. For the Federation Klingon player, you win by breaking through the Dominion lines, i.e. exiting the play area through the Dominion player's starting area with at least one of your ships other than your attack squadron, before the minefield is destroyed. Now, I did find it kind of interesting, and I thought about this after we played.
Why did we use Klingons?
Why didn't we use Klingons?
I think because we both just read it on the pictures I sent you on the phone. It's just like, oh, okay, read this. Okay, Federation, go.
Because opening it up with Klingons would change it. So basically, the way we look at it, premise-wise, is that we played Federation pure against Dominion.
Well, if you throw a bunch of Borels in there...
Oh, you could hammer out 3 20-point Borels in that, and a couple heavy-duty Fed ships stacked to the gills for cover. You could plow right through.
Now, I will post our builds. I don't know if you still have your builds, but I'll post mine on there. I really didn't go for theme this time myself. I went to see if I could just break the scenario. And it did.
Very smoothly, by the way.
Yeah, I ran the Prometheus and Voyager and one set of fighters. And I just rammed it right up and just punched right through. I mean, you can come within a fraction of an inch of going off the other side in 2 turns with the Prometheus.
And the way I had set up my Dominion on that, I had set up for a decent spread to take both angles, because where my point structure was for placement onto the board, I saw where you were going, so I planned to sweep and flank on both sides.
Right, because I had no place to veer off to. I would have to go towards center, and then you could bring it around.
Right, and basically the way it went down was I was able to keep the because you just had Voyager, you had Prometheus, and you had the set of fighters.
And I knew I was going to sacrifice Voyager.
Which
it was
you did.
The slower one.
Yeah, which it turned into that. I had both sides of my fleet went for both the Prometheus and the Voyager. As we all know, Dominion ships turn like boat anchors unless you're an attack ship. So essentially,
and then you're not throwing much.
Yeah, I had a Breen ship with the energy dissipator on it, which I ended up using against the Voyager. And then I also
You used it against the Voyager, but it didn't hit.
Right.
I believe I actually had it diced up on that one, so I think it was rolling out with a 3, and I just... Yeah.
But I did Madred your Picard, or your captain on it.
No, you Madredded Spock.
Spock, yeah, because you had
Because I had Spock on the Voyager.
Yeah, it ended up turning out to be Fubard after two rounds. Practically.
And truthfully, I think your mistake on your side was... nothing tactical. I just wouldn't have used the Enterprise. I know you had the Enterprise refit and you wanted to use it, but it was just not the ship for that.
Well, and the way I had looked at it was I was either going to use the Enterprise or I was going to use... if I had not had the Enterprise at the time, I was planning on using an Excelsior. So it would have been, splitting hairs. Excelsior wouldn't have survived as well, but it could have hammered out a little bit better as a defense ship. And the thing was, my Enterprise wasn't the one that was supposed to make it off the board. The Hathaway was. That got shot full of holes.
Truthfully, it seems like these scenarios for both of us, like, it reaches out to one or the other tactically, and that person seems to grasp both sides of it really well, because last time, I took victory in both sides.
Yeah.
And the time before that, you took victory on both sides. We've had a few... Well, we've only had 3 episodes. Oh, yeah, when I played by myself, I won.
You go, Vince. So you're 3 for 3 for the last 3 engagements.
Yes. Okay, here's a little something I was just going to throw out there. We're going to start with Federation. What do you enjoy putting on the table, and what do you enjoy from the movies and the TV just for its aesthetics?
Ship-wise... I love the Enterprise, either the original series Enterprise, not the mini prize. We actually have changed out our mini prizes for the old Micro Machine ship, and it works quite well. And, of course, Excelsiors. Actually, of all the Federation ships, I don't like the fighters. I don't like Federation fighters. I love almost every other Federation ship that's out there. I mean, I enjoy playing the Enterprise ships from the original series, and now my refit, if I can get a chance to use it without it popping. And Defiance are still my mainstay. Because I'm a DS9 fan, majorly, and Attack Wing, Defiant should be a powerhouse.
I think that it should be a little tougher than a glorified Delta Flyer.
Right.
Which essentially, the stats are close.
They are. They're very close.
For me personally, I do enjoy flying the Constellation class. It's more maneuverable than an Excelsior, and if you put enough points into it in the right spots, like a system upgrade or a Unimatrix, you can make it just as tough as an unmodified Excelsior for about the same cost, and you still have that maneuverability.
Right.
Now, personally, my favorite Federation ship is the Excelsior from the movies. In Next Generation, all you ever saw was it just flying next to the Enterprise in a static shot. But in the movies, it was so very dynamic. The lines were beautiful, and I thought they addressed some of my concerns, like, man, why doesn't anybody just blow one of those nacelles off of there? Or shoot it in the neck!
Yeah. Excelsior, big neck.
The nacelle sat down. I just thought it was a great ship. And lastly, on a private little war, it's time for Warnog of the Week. And this week's entry is a very interesting beer because it's an ivory stout.
If you're a stout drinker, you know they're always heavy, they always look like motor oil, and they always hit really hard. This ivory stout was actually a 4.9. It actually was really a light beer.
Stouts can go in that area, but we're talking. You're thinking I always get Imperials.
When we drink stouts, let's give you a little background. When we drink stouts, they're always 9% or higher, and they always knock us on our catushes.
9% is usually on the low end.
Low
of
end
scale.
of that. Where this one coming in dialing in at almost a 5 was actually really good, easy drinking. It's from Brewlink Brewing Company. Oh, from Plainfield, Indiana. So they're nearby
close.
where we're at. And basically, being a white stout, it was really easy. It was almost like an IPA in some aspects of it. It was really not as heavy. It was really dry and easy, drier.
Well, it did have that kind of viscous mouth feel to it. It was kind of like maybe like Honey Badger or even Hop Slam.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little heavier. Not as heavy as a normal stout, but it had some super nice, like, coffee mocha notes to it.
Yeah, it was totally... I got vanilla and mocha off that heavy on it. It's in the scent and in the taste. It was actually quite an easy drink. Had that been a higher percentage, that would have been heavy damage. I would have been at least, four criticals on that.
We did have another beer, and that was Lagunitas' Sakatumi, which is a lager, I believe, brewed with sake yeast, and it was very lightly hopped. For Lagunitas, that struck me as odd. But it was a very mild beer. It did have a lot of characteristics of sake. Truthfully, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was just kind of like...
It was there.
Yeah, it was there. And it was 9% there. A brief explanation of why we're recording today, and we've talked straight through, and it doesn't seem like we've really had that gameplay moment. We played last week, and we recorded the gameplay segment, but I was going to up our audio game and use the studio mics. Well, I updated my DAW, my digital audio workstation software, from version 3.5 to version 5.0. Now, the expectation for me was, everything's going to be the same except with some added functionality and maybe a few kinks worked out of it.
Red alert.
The reality of it was, I don't know what I'm doing anymore and everything's changed. So I literally fought with the software for about an hour and some change. But yeah, and by the time we were done, it was literally just like, let's just play the game and get it over with. And we did. It's going to be a little light on humor in the gameplay segment this week, and it's going to be a little short.
Yeah.
First round, Vince playing Dominion, Kevin playing Federation. Okay. The planning phase.
To planning.
Gotta remember Vex's ability. I really should just write it on a little post-it note and stick it beside all the ships. Like, you can re-roll with this. You can do this. You can... Because half the time I forget, especially in the heat of battle.
Right. And the heat of beer.
Yeah, well, there's that too. Fortunately, the new rules don't change much. It took us, 3 years to get these rules down?
Right.
Oh, hey, I need another beer already. Yeah, he goes kaboom!
And boom goes the dynamite!
Have I told you lately that I hate you?
Yes, you have.
Goodbye, sir. We hardly knew ye. Oh, this is yours. Oh, I didn't even get to shoot. Fight! Was that Mortal Kombat?
Yeah. Planning.
Okay, Super Mario.
Planning.
So close. You think you're so smart, Vince, but you know nothing. Oh no.
So, reroll these.
Oh, he dead, Kevin. You don't bet.
And add one more onto that because of the Fighter Squadron 6, because you had one hauled in.
I told you he was goddamn dead already. Please, don't.
Hey, let me use the abilities.
Do not add insult to injury. Well, yes, because we normally don't go through that. Yeah, this is pretty much the same way it went the last time when I, actually punched a hole and almost made it off the board, but then I was taken behind. Much like your mother, Trebek. Oh, God. I need another beer. Wow, my defense dice suddenly cooled the hell down.
And my attack dice heated up.
Shields at 10%, Captain! Captain.
And back to planning.
Yes, sir. Now, before we go, I would like to send out a big thank you to David Montgomery over at the shipyard. He sent me a message one day and said, hey, would you guys like to be on the YouTube channel? I said, that'd be great. So now you'll be able to find us over on the shipyard's YouTube channel and here as well. If you want to download it, it's always available to download at the SoundCloud. If you want to just watch it online, head on over to the YouTube channel. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I mean, just a big thanks to David. And then, I can't wait to play. And in that note, next week, on A Private Little War, Kevin and Vince go head-to-head in the Mutara Nebula.
Dun dun dun!
Stay tuned, because that's going to be a fun and interesting night, I have a feeling.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to be able to play that 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's an easy one to set up, an easy one to tear down. You'll probably see us definitely both play both sides a couple times at least, I would assume.
All right, friends. You have a good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it is there.
24 hours.
And until next time, see you in Stovacor! A Private Little War is hosted, recorded, engineered, and edited by Vincent Rose and Kevin Klodzinski. This podcast is based on a segment from the podcast Warp Core Breach. The segment is Mission Briefing by David Griffin. Warp Core Breach is recorded and produced by David Montgomery and Nick Norris. Music is provided by Garage Sale Porno and the V9 Jacks. We are not affiliated with WizKids or CBS. All rights belong to WizKids and CBS with the exception of Warp Core Breach, the Me-Night Jacks, Garage Sale Porno, and A Private Little War. You can follow and reach us at A Private Little War Podcast on Facebook. Always keep up the good fight. We'll see you next time.